Halo Bang.
Let me grab some.
I'll just focus. Oh, it is not like. It's like just the same way. Alright, I remember it being a bit taller. Yeah, I might cut it. Some people say cut it. Yeah.
Just setting up stuff now. Just I do live streaming, so
Gauges and pins.
yeah, pretty much. So I'm going to give my opinion today. It dropped a bit.
Yeah. Crypto's dropped a bunch.
Yeah.
I lost like 2 bucks.
Yeah, I lost more than that.
I had like, I only had like 100 in it.
Yeah, that's all right. It's a start.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so I'm planning to get another one of this week, and that goes here, and this will go on. Yeah. Unfortunately, that one doesn't fit there.
Oh yeah.
The back, so it's giving me a neck ache. I was meant to go up there.
You need a small one somewhere, just so you can.
No, this was meant to be up there, and the back doesn't fit. So I got to get rid of it.
If you had like a small one on the wall that had like
yeah,
big coins at this,
I'll
instead of
have more.
Yeah.
I'll keep going. I'm gonna add more. This one. Oh, someone's knocking on the door.
Oh, I think everyone's good.
I mean, we just came to chill and have fun. And I guess that's what life's all about.
Welcome to Chill Nation Radio. This is Chill Nation Radio.
Gleaming in the sky so gold. Maybe we could write that code. Find another place to go. Drive till sun gets low. Cruise till the night gets cold. Before the moon gets low. Gleaming in the sky so gold. Maybe we could write that code. Find another place to go. Drive till sun gets low. Cruise until the night gets cold. Gets
I'm online, that's all. I'm online.
Skies for you, even though I'm living on the ground. I turn on all the lights for you, even though I'm living in the dark. I'd go anywhere for you, even though I'm struggling to walk. I'd go anywhere for you, even though I'm struggling. I'd run away from everything with you, even though I'm never one to leave. I'd make a little home with you, even though I'm used to running. I'd go anywhere for you, even though I'm struggling to walk. I'd go anywhere for you, even though I'm struggling. Even though I'm struggling.
Yes.
Baba, if a package comes that has under Saj's name, let me know. Okay?
One night to be confused, one night to speed of truth. We had a promise made, four hands and plan away, both under influence. We had divine sense to know what to say. Mind is a razor blade, took off our hands of above. To lean on, would it be good enough? perfect twos. The colors red and blue. We had a promise made, and we were in love to go from hands up above. Would it be good enough for me to call for hands up above to you? Would it be good enough? We were let's make a long way home. Find a couple hills to climb. Maybe we can take our time. Let's take a long way home. Just to be the way. We can do this one more day. We can do this one more day. Let's take a long way home. Find a couple hills to climb. Maybe we can take our time. Let's take a long way home. Just to be the way. We can do this one more day. Let's take a long way home. Find a couple hills to climb. Let's take the long way home. Just to be lead the way. 'Cause we can do this one more day. So we can do this one more day. Can't escape your love. It's following me. I'm afraid that I won't move on if you never leave. Everywhere I look, everywhere I go, I find you. Everywhere I run, everywhere I hide, can't escape your love. It's following me. I'm afraid that I won't move on if you never leave. Everywhere I look, everywhere I go, I find you. Everywhere I run, everywhere I hide. haven't felt your presence.
grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world. Try not to bash into the walls too much. Try to have a nice family life. Have fun. Save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. Everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. live and no one watches, what's the point of it?
I'm trying to get some sleep. You're laying next to me. My mind is painting
Yes.
pictures of what you have
Turn
to
the
say.
TV off.
I just want to go. Escape to mountains slow. Wherever you will visit, I wanna help you go. I'll help you go away, away. Ooh, I've lost some words that I should say. Tell me what to be, and tell your day. Wanna take a walk around the dark of the feet. I can only try to watch your feet. Our best teeth to share. Come on. Shallow conversations, but I'm trying to dive complicate what's going on. Holes around us hidden in a broken heart. Our hope is broken, go away, away. I've lost words that I should say. Tell me what to be, and tell your day. Wanna take a walk along the dark and dirty feet. I could only try to wash your feet. Flower beds, tears, shit. Come on. Tell all your friends that you're okay. All the while I am waiting for you. You put it off like you're afraid to be okay with falling in love. What I gave all my love to you. I've said everything I needed to say. At this point, it's just best for me to leave. I waited up all night till my bedroom was light and the dawn kept you up another day. You forget the night will turn to day. All the while I'm waiting home for you. You said you wish that you had stayed, but I'm okay with memories when memories are thoughts of you. I've said everything I needed to say. At this point, it's just best for me to leave. I waited up all night till my bedroom was light and the dawn
back to you another day.
Just thinking aloud. Hello. We've got, what is it? Oh, 15 minutes and I'll start. Okay, I'm about to start. Let me just get yourself a drink next to me, so if I cough, I have something to drink, and I'll start. Okay, hello everybody that has joined. If you haven't watched my previous video stream, this is a continuation. And during the course of the day, I'll look at a few things, look at a few people's opinions, and some blame it on the news with the US Treasury, and some blame it on the mining with the power outage in China, which pretty much dropped our hash rate for Bitcoin. So the timing wasn't bad, or the timing was bad, and you can affiliate many things with the drop. But the actual chart tells you there was a bearish divergence hanging there for a long time. So this was not any surprise for it to drop. So you can always look at the rumors, but the chart was always saying it's going to drop as well. It was imminent. It's just a matter of when. I thought it was going to be 68,000. I was actually thinking of 68,000 before there was a pullback to low 70. So I had an opinion. I got it wrong with the pullback, and people affiliate with other things. I don't think it's affiliated with anything. It doesn't help with the mining hash rate dropping, so that could scare a fair bit of people, which could initiate the drop much earlier than what the target was. So these things happen. Now let's look what the chart tells us and where we go from there. The good news is it's still bullish, but there's no imminent scare and capitulation. So if you look at the chart on my left, which is a 4-hour, now let's start from the high time frames, the weekly. I don't want to see that in the weekly, so let's just get a few things out the way. Let's hide all this. We don't want to see on the weekly. That one I do want to see. So let's see where that is. So let's get rid of the moving averages for time being. What's this line do? I'll get rid of that. Okay, this is the alley wave count, as you can see. We don't know where 5 is, and we're trying to work out 4. Could be there for the time being. So Elliott experts say this is we're still on wave 3. So in the pullback, could be wave 4, but not yet. This could still be wave 3. And the hard part is that how do you tell? All right, let's look at the indicators just for the time being and compare it with previous charts. So if you look at this chart, can I get my drawing pen? No, I can't get drawing. The previous, so we talked about on the previous video stream that this is normal, and in many cases the weekly 20 moving average was touched. So we can put that 20 and just enable that, and we just zoom in. You can see there that 20 weekly moving average was touched with the pullbacks, and this was on the last bull run. So we had a number of touches, 1, 2, 3, and that was probably the 10 moving average. So if this is the bull run, and there's a lot of reasons why the bull run started, but we won't go into that. But you see at the top is very parabolic. So we had in this bull run, I believe, and it's my opinion, we had a few parabolic moves. We had one there. These are mini parabolic moves, and we had this one here. Right, so we had two there, two distinct parabolic moves, and in the bull run you can say that's all one parabolic move. All right. So two distinct parabolic moves and a number of pullbacks to the 20 moving average. I think we should change that color so it stands out better. Yes. And in each case, if we look at this is the weekly, right? We use these tools that we have, crossover there, price drops. When the green crosses the red, and this is a bit delayed compared to this. So that red candle was the culprit on the weekly. Energy is 50%. So we've got a crossover, and this grey section is less than 50% on the weekly. That is a deep pullback. And if we move to the next one, crossover, right there with the grey, a deep pullback. So we have the following week, another deeper pullback because we're in the less than 50%, and so on. So if we go to here, perfectly there, crossover, less than 50%, deep pullback. And that was the bear run, the bear market. So let's go and look at today. So we're on the weekly, yeah? So we're having, you want to assess the market, you look at the weekly. You can see these are very shallow. And this is a bullish formation. Even though it's going down, it's not 50%. It's headed south, but it's nowhere near being a bear market or top. So yeah, there could be a pullback. It could be something similar to this, but you can see how deep these ones. This is I suppose the follow-up to the major bull run, which is a really a building up process, and then we've got the bull run there. This is even more. This is even more bullish than the current scenario. So on the weekly, we have this significant dive before it even gets to dropping. Look at this. Okay. So if we have this red line as the demarcation for real drop, we're still nowhere near it. Okay, so that red section is the decider, which is, I think it was about 50, 60%, somewhere around there. So here, as soon as we dropped below that, it dropped significantly. And similarly here, when it dropped below there, it started to come down. This one also, the wave trend on the weekly doesn't show that, yeah, it crossed over, but it's nowhere near here to say, yep. So we've got two indicators pretty much saying that there is downward pressure on the weekly, but the market is not bearish. Okay, so that's my opinion on the high level, and we need I suppose more weeks to decide it. But as I stated before, this bull run touched the 20-week moving average, and unfortunately we might do that this time around. Look how bullish it's been. So we had the luxury of being really lucky not to have that touch yet. So this might be the case. This level here that I have, which is let's see what it is, 45,000, and I've got the weekly. Yeah, so that's a weekly support. The weekly support, that level, and the way I got that weekly support is pretty much from the body of the candle. Right on the bottom, that was support. Look how long it has to go down. So it's potentially going to take all the way coming down to touch this 20 moving average. And it's still bullish, even if it does that. So it's a long drop, and it might go sideways. So one possible scenario is that price just goes sideways while this 20 moving average comes along, and then price goes up. Who knows? Yeah, that's a scenario. I'm not saying sell because it's too early to say that. So for the people that aren't familiar with price action, when we have a drop like what we did, it's normal for price to try to get back where it was. So let's go to the daily. In many cases, so if we look here, I'll give you 3 examples. When price drops, even if it drops to that level, it always tries to make this level back, or this one here. Always tries to. But the thing is, you got to be patient. So if it right here is the first phase, and then bounced up to this level, got rejected and went down, and then price bounced back up and try to equal that top, and that's where everyone when it falls short. And there's a Fibonacci level for that. There's a method to it, so we can apply that method here. So this was drastic. If you recall, from there to there was 26%. Within 2 days, that was it. And the market didn't change. This one is nowhere near it. Still, actually, it's 21%, which is a fair bit. And we had this big wick on the bottom. And was it likely to do? It's definitely likely to drop more. Okay, so looking at this, one of the indications that I see is this level of support. So what you try to do is look for a line that has a lot of touches from both directions. And I understand just by looking at the chart why this is resistance. So if we expand it, don't you start, huh? Don't you start? What does that mean? No, okay, I got you. Yeah. Cool, we're good. So if I look at that, and I'll give you reasons as to why that's a strong resistance. You can see a wick there, wick there, wick there, yep. And then here there was resistance on the way up. So this is a justified resistance area. Okay, so it makes sense to me that that's resistance. And if I was to apply Fibonacci, I'm sure that's a nice Fibonacci level as well. So let's verify that. So from here to the top, It could be the next Fibonacci down, next level. Right to the bottom. Yeah, it makes sense. So let me just get rid of this crossover. Clean the chart. So if we look at this chart from the bottom to the top, put a Fibonacci, it ends up roughly being the 0.382 retracement level as resistance. Yeah, right there. So it equates perfectly. And if you move that across, so that is a significant resistance level. And we can see that price is not, it got rejected in the 8 hours, we got rejected twice there. So let's look at it in a shorter time frame, say 5 minutes. Look how many times they tried. Once, twice, 3 times, and that was your signal to short. So 3 touches pretty much says resistance, confirmation. See my analysis, I warned last night, I've had fall, I'll be fine, okay. Did you sell? Warning doesn't help. So that explains why this is resistance for many reasons. The Fibonacci, just eyeing the level, and so on. And here, and it's done it. So the 5 minute, when you look up close, there was 3 touches, short down. Now this still is what you saw here with the bounce was a bullish divergence, and it bounced. And I have a theory right now that we're going to get the 3 bottoms. So this area in the short term, one more here, we'll do something like that. At the moment, we've got this line, and we just got to see what it does. I think it's going to come down, and we've got to see another bullish divergence. And until you get confirmation, there's no point of buying. If you got that knife's edge, that's good. That would have been a good level right there. When everything's happening, some people just plan ahead and put their mark with just the Fibonacci, and they place the order, and they get lucky. And so if you were there, price goes up, just to make quick profit, really. Now the price comes down 3 times, right? How likely is it to come down here? My thinking is it's going to go up. This is a reversal pattern taking place. But the reversal pattern can go 1, 2, 3, and then up. So again, this is a good buying zone. Okay, where that wick was is a good buying zone if it comes down here. That's my thought. And while this plays out, I can prove to you that in the past that was the case for many of the charts. So if I was to pick this spot here, let's see if I can change it just by this time zone. So that if I click there, there we go. The right side moves towards it. Is it? There we go. So see these bottoms? They're a good pattern, aren't they? So what we're seeing is probably equivalent to this. Okay, so we bounced 1, 2, and then down, and then that's the buy zone. So a bit lower than the wick. Based on the drop that we had, I would say this is the scenario that we're going to play out, a likely scenario. All right. I'm leaning towards that. Here's another scenario, but it's slightly different. So he stays at the same level, up, and then gets a lower high, and then up it goes. So I'm expecting one of these. So if you were to buy now, and it drops further, don't sell. So we've got two scenarios there. And if you look at this one, this was a very determined one. Again, a bit of a bear flag on a smaller time frame. You got to watch it. That's pretty much it. You can't give an answer without watching it. There was a bear flag, one more dip, and that was it. And the buying pressure. So they all did it based on. So you can see here this was a neckline for this inverse head and shoulders. So what price did was it went up, and when it came back down, this was an area proven to be support because there was a strong resistance and there was buying there. Now if we move this across, what's the difference really? Historically, if you go with history, if price comes down here, up to this, if the wick comes down this level, great. This is your buy zone. So if you don't want to miss out, or if you want to take your chances, buy, but when it comes down here, don't sell. Well, that's one strategy. I do think it's just bounce, and I think it's going to come down and just test it once more, and that's where a lot of the buyers are coming. Seasoned traders will be here looking for this, and they're patient. So I'll be buying here if it comes. And let's talk about the justification for it. So I talked about support and resistance levels, why it justifies that level. I did show that Fibonacci 0.618 retracement on this massive impulse from this level. So from this level to this level, I measured the Fibonacci, and that turned out to be the 0.618. Right? So that's another reason to buy. So we've got two elements that support. Now we've got the resistance and support from this level, as why it's a good level to buy. And we've got the Fibonacci. Now, if I was to, here's a third reason. This big trend line, we use that point and that point as a reference, and the third point. So there's many touches, right? So that 1 and 2 on the macro level, this trend line touches these levels. And so if we move forward, the trend line crosses the buy zone as well. So that's the third element. And so the daily moving average, if we were to project that forward, that's a 20 daily weekly moving average actually. That's the weekly one. So it doesn't quite get it. Now let's look at the weekly 8. So the weekly 8 moving average played its role here. Let me just get rid of these lines. I hate clutter. So if we look at the 8 which is 8 weekly moving average. It was used in that spot, and we use that as a reference. And the weekly 8 weekly moving average also comes across the Y zone, this area here, the initial one. Okay, so that justified the initial one. And now let's look at the 10 weekly moving average, which is the main one, slightly above the buy zone. I would say that it's slightly above it, but it's close enough. So if I was to project that one, the 10 weekly moving average, that's pretty much it there. So now let's go closer. There we go. That is a bullish move. It's got a bit of upward pressure. And we'll look to falling short of that. So that is a 10 weekly moving average, which crossed there, and that's why. So 10 weekly moving average, along with this support line, is currently acting as strong support. So this is a buy zone, but it can possibly drop to the next level. This is definitely a buy zone, but it might just stay here and go up, and we might see this type of action, or the previous bottoms that I've shown you. So I can't tell you where it's going to go, not now, but I do expect it to go sideways for, and the build up will give you a clue. You won't miss out. So what you do is you look for the counts. So what are the counts that we're looking for? You look for a level. In this case, that was a level. And if you see a level like that, where it's getting pressure, here's another level. There's a formation. So this was a bearish formation, a bit of a triangle, and it broke down. So if you see that kind of formation, you know it's going to drop deep. It's just, I think it's based on experience, really. Just to eye the bottom formation. Yeah, if I was to break this down, here we go. So there's a count there. Where is it? So it's 1, 2, 3. So I got the count wrong. 3, 2, 1, and 0. So there is a bounce there. So it's 1. Yep. And if we look closer to that, can't really see a formation, can you? But it is there. I see it, that kind of formation. So that's a reversal formation. The other ones are either inverted head and shoulders. This is a mini inverted head and shoulders there, formation. So you look for those kind of formations before you jump in. That's what I do. I don't try to guess what it is. I just watch it. It's taking a long time to get down. Sometimes you don't get it right, which is possible. So I do see it hanging around here for a while. Just it's not going to happen too quick. We've got to see at least four bars, I reckon, 4-hour bars in there before we see something move. Because it was a big drop, and it will take a while for it to work. Here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 4-hour candlesticks before it moves up. These ones are bigger, which is interesting. That's a bigger dive. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 candles as well. So we should count the candles before we have a, and in this case you can see the candlesticks on the 4-hour. You can see this one where this green one is more than half the previous. The red one engulfs the previous, but this green candle engulfs all of them. And that was the bullish sign there. Oh, yep, it went up and then dropped down again. So it's possible that we're going to do that. So this is the main resistance level here. But we're lucky that it didn't go down there. So this will be support. A lot of reasons why this is a buying zone. I don't see it easily going up. I think at this point, it might make its way down once more before buying. Maybe place half your orders there and half your order there. If it comes, you get the next half and off it goes up. That's my thinking. So that's Bitcoin, with a few reasons why it's a buy zone. And the drop is pretty much a bearish divergence. So if we look at the daily, I'll try to show it there. An upsending wedge. And if I was to clear that a bit, where is it? There is clear an uptrend, ascending wedge, and that point was when it broke that level, it was exit, and all the leverages were supposed closed. People were probably going long from here or from there, going long, thinking it's going to keep going. So when price drops down, depending where they entered, if they entered here, obviously when price is coming down, they don't want to be left holding the bag, and that's why it just speeds very quickly, because there's a lot of leverage trading up here. I was looking to leverage from here, and so I thought they might just play with me, because a lot of people will enter here leverage. And so a lot of this capitulation type of things is all based on leverage trading, borrowed money, and people don't want to be caught with borrowed money, and so they limit themselves out. The ones that aren't leveraging, the ones that have bought Bitcoin for ages or some time back, there's no reason for us to sell at this point, because we, depending where you came in, you're still way ahead, and it's a bull market, and there's nothing to say that this is going to just go down. All right, let's talk about why I don't think it's going down. Let me talk two things. And I mentioned in the previous stream that people didn't see the ABCD move. So the ABCD move is this on the tools. It's based on Fibonacci or Elliott wave. It's like something like that, right? And basically the length of the length of A to B equals the length of C to D. And in many cases, the time from A to C equals the time from B to D, but it's not necessary. So if you have the length of A to B equals the length of C to D, it's a common trait. And what I've observed in the previous drops, that was the case. So if I was to look at this structure and a few others I'll demonstrate. So let's look at a smaller time frame than the daily. Okay, here we go. So we've got this structure, and we're going to apply it to here. So that's A to B. I get that copy, and that's the target roughly. It's not perfect, but it's rough close enough. So it's the same level. Okay, that's one example there. Let's look at the previous. When there's big drops, it usually occurs. So now we're going to look at 2019. When there's deep drops, this is parabolic. This is what I like to see and what I'm expecting for the top to look like for this run. Something that's very parabolic, and then a dump, and a dump. That's when you get the idea. So here we got from there to there. Now if I was to grab that, pretty much. Okay, so that's another one. And if I was to look at 2019, I'll bet you there's one there too. From there to there, and there to there. Yep, that works there as well. So we've got a number of cases where the AB equals CD works. And it's usually ones that are deep pullbacks. And in this case, it was two top levels, top off levels, and even here, I actually thought this might be a topping structure. So I was a bit concerned at the time because I knew what happened before. So I'm going, ooh. But this motion, and I used this scenario, by the way, from 2019, and I got it perfectly right based on what I studied in the past. So looking at past examples can give you an idea, which basically are called fractals, can give you an idea on how the charts could behave. So if I was to apply this rule here, and I'm going to get to where we are now, it's one of those scenarios that I'm looking at. So I'll use a Fibonacci. From there to there, it's a bit, let's see, let me see if I can get rid of this one. Let's see. I'll use this one here. Where this parabolic move started, and it hits the 0.618 level. I don't know if you can see it. There's no way of making these lines bigger. I mean, I can make them thicker, but the writing, there is no method of the labeling to get thicker or bigger, the text. There isn't. All I can do is change the lines. So I can't help to make these little labels bigger. But you can see from the root of this move to the top, the pullback was 0.618. And then what happened, this is a bit of an education session, it goes above the 0.382. If the bounce goes above the 0.382, it's bullish. Okay, and let's apply a scenario here. Let's look at this. So if we get from here, swing low to the swing high, on the 0.5, it gets rejected. Okay, so from this level, local, to the high, swing low, swing high, 0.5 is a rejection level. Keep that in mind. Now let's apply here. Local. This one wasn't. This is bullish. Now this one here. Actually, the bottom one's here. I can't see it. .302. No. Let me just zoom in a bit, make it better. All right, let's do this one here. From the slow to the high, we have 0.5 as a support. From here to the top, we have 0.5 as a support. And from here, we don't. So from here to there, it's too deep, right? So we use a macro from there to there. And the 0.5 becomes support again at this level. Although the 0.618 was the bounce, 0.5 looks like it's acting as support. So 0.5 to 0.618 is support level is a good sign. So it's even with a in-between scenarios, the 0.5 on many occasions acted as support. So it doesn't surprise me that this could be support, and then it just goes up. That's why I said you should buy here a portion, and the rest of your bag's down here if it gets down there. But we need to wait and see for that scenario to play. At the moment, this is resistance. It could drop easily down and then back up, which is a good scenario. This is a bullish move when it drops like that because the supply is here. So I'm hoping it does that. But it's very hard to know if that's going to happen by just looking at it. At this point, you can't. And it's too early. So don't sell and just patiently wait. Okay, so that's that. Now let's look at Bitcoin dominance. So that's a bounce. That's a significant bounce, but you can see Bitcoin dominance is starting to drop. So the alts are starting to move. And I'll bet you, let's look at Ethereum. One of the big market caps. Okay, so I had my Ethereum chart here. We can look at Ethereum if you want. That red line doesn't belong there. This was always known as a resistance zone, just from the pure fact of that. Previous resistance, support, no wonder that was a buying zone. And I continue to think that is the buying zone. So if Ethereum was to drop, this is the area is to buy. It doesn't look as that, when you look at the scale, it doesn't look quite similar to Bitcoin, but the drop was significant. That was slightly more, 22%. So it matches Bitcoin, slightly more. So holding Ethereum or holding Bitcoin before the bounce wouldn't make much difference. And in my previous post, I spoke about Ethereum pretty much trying to break this level. This is a channel that I have. I shouldn't have touched that, I spoiled it. So we have this level. I think that might come into play later on. I do see Ethereum just bouncing around in this zone. The grey is the bottom by the dips. I had this before as a buy zone. Obviously, it went down lower, so I thought this zone would stop it. And if we apply the Fibonacci to that level, you can see two things. The 0.5 is that level where the candlestick started, but the 0.618 is where it went down to. So that was, and if you don't know, the 0.618, the golden ratio, is always the best place to buy. The hard part is do you use this level or the one above? And that's the hard part, to know which level you use for the 0.618 as a point of reference. And in this case, from here, if we use a reference from there to there, it's the 0.5 that played the role. Now it's on the 0.302 level support. So my grey zone is the buy zone if Ethereum comes down again. And this target was basically matched by this structure. So we knew that was the target for the short term. Just applying the height of this structure, applied it to the breakout, and that was the target, local target, and we hit it. And once it's done, it does a pullback. The pullback was complicated with Bitcoin, so it was remaining bullish, but Bitcoin pretty much made it faster. But Ethereum is still in play. I haven't sold any of my Ethereum. I'm not planning to. I think it's going to range for a while. I think the way it's working is the luxury of having these big gains have slowed down. Like these runs, bullish runs, as it comes to the top, you can see it's just slowing down. So if you look at Ethereum, realistically, it's not even in parallel with this line. It's falling short. So it is starting to look like a topping off. It's not there yet. And another uptrend or up wedge, and potentially as it gets. So we've got too many lines here, don't we? So let's clean it up a bit. And let's get rid of that channel. So this is what we have at the moment, just by the two lines. I was expecting, and it's still possible, that we do something like that and break above, and hopefully continue on like that. And then the exit strategy is if it breaks this trend line, really, for Ethereum, if you push this all the way down, that is your trend line that you can't compromise. That will be your get out zone. And this grey and this red line, if price drops below, that's your stop limit. Because what happens is it's obviously going to go sideways, and the more it drops, it might drop down to this. If it was to drop, just so price was going and it made a low, it's potentially going to look at that, and you got to see what happens there. So there's a few scenarios that could possibly play out. At the moment, we're nowhere near it, but as time comes by, we'll have a look. But these are the things that you look at. Key reference points. Previous highs, and you can see there was a bit of a block before breakthrough. So there was a resistance, and then it broke through, and then up it went. So Ethereum is much more bullish than Bitcoin at the moment in terms of structure. Look at total market cap, see what it's doing. So the total market cap, I think we lost a fair bit of money in that level. If we look at it from the top, there was 17% loss. So someone said like, I don't know, 8 billion, 9 billion. I'm not sure what it says here. Just 17% of that. But you can see there is a structure in there on the total market cap. Very clear. And that was a nice bullish breakout above it. And now we've fallen below this level, which is not good. And the other one was this. So we found support on this line right there, which is also confluent with this prior resistance and support. So we've got two levels, two elements that pretty much set for the market cap to be bullish at that level or support. Now, if this was to drop below it, then that would have been a really bearish market. So currently, the market is not bearish because it hasn't fallen below this trend line. So it might be, instead of looking at Bitcoin, we should probably look at this as when to get out, because the market cap is the total really, and that line, a trend line, supporting trend line, is our line of defense. So if I was to make a decision with crypto, I think this will be more prevalent than Bitcoin's weekly, or I think this will be much more a user case. And if you look at this chart, it's got good structure. This structure is bullish. Now, if I was to compare that to, so look at that structure on the top, SPX. We'll use the SPX 500, which is the stock market, and we use the weekly, poly. You can see how that motion, that play. Oh my God! You want to touch that? I've got a time synced in, that's why it stuffed me up a bit. So let's go back to here. One more time fix. There we go. Right, now get rid of the time sync. So if the SP 500, you can see how along this trend line or moving average, that motion is similar to what we're seeing here, and the pullback, like you see all these little pullbacks on this moving average on the weekly for SP 500 is very bullish, isn't it? I haven't seen that for a while. Bugger, all-time high. So the stock market's really going well. It's all the printed money. Federal Reserve that's buying all the stock. That's crazy. That's why I suppose Bitcoins are also going up. But the thing is the case of going off trail. The bad news is the US dollar index, the XY index. The stock market's great, which used to be part of how to gauge the Bitcoin market because they were correlated. I haven't looked at this for ages, and I believe I got it really right. Beautiful. Now you can see that US dollar is, even though it's found support here at this level, and it's done a bounce, it's getting a rejection at this moving average. So this is the weekly. So US dollar is sinking back down. And the Federal Reserve, I think today, made a tweet about finding exchanges on crypto exchanges, and that didn't help this scenario. I believe that was another factor that pushed the price down. Bad news with the mining and bad news with the Federal Reserve, in conjunction with a bearish divergence, push price down really hard. So you can say that those are the things, catalysts. But the US dollar is sinking, and they don't like crypto making it worse for them. And that's that statement. So, but my point was with the SPX 500 in the terms of formation, that this is a bullish thing, and it's probably likely that this will continue up that trend. So go back to here. I like that the trend here, the way just then there's pullbacks that continue to go up. This was the COVID, so there was a 40% drop on this stock market. This was a catalyst for Bitcoin as well, and the stock market will really go high. Massive candle on the weekly, and that's a bit of history there. And you can see the motion on the weekly, and if we do the motion on this weekly, it's bullish. So this trend line potentially could be the main one that supports our bull trend. And so let me see, that's the 13. Let's see what we got here. There you go. Sort of fits into that scenario, doesn't it? In a number of ways. So this is my 1350. This is a 1350 on the Bitcoin total market, and the 1350 has a roll, and there's once in a while a little pullback, but the 50 moving average is good. So let me put on the daily. That's probably better. That's better. Yeah, that's better. The 50 moving average is our support line, along with this one here on the weekly. So if we go to Bitcoin, that's slightly, it wasn't what you wanted. It's dropped below the 50 moving average on the daily. So that is, yeah, that wick is a bit nasty. It would be nice if it was, so that could be the 100 really. Let's look at the 100. I can't use it there. So the 100's probably the next level to be tested if this doesn't go up. It's definitely 100 moving average could be the next level on the daily, or and if I was to say that's 100 moving average on the daily, and suppose you get the 10 weekly, this one here, somewhere in between. So the 10 weekly moving average and the 50 or the 100 on the daily is the zone. Okay, there you go, the zone. So they make, oh, let me get rid of that. Offline, but so the 100's at the bottom of that zone, and the 50 and the 10 weekly is just above that zone. Again, another reason that zone's qualified. All right, I think that's pretty much it for the short term, and we can look at a few coins, alts, and let's see if we just change it around a bit. Try and make just a daily. we want that. So if we look at link, this is the weekly. Link looks good on the weekly. Let's look on the daily. And let's get actually, let's just go to the big chart. That's probably better. So there was a big drop there, isn't it? But it's a good bounce as well. So if you sold your link, you're in stuffed. The link dropped 50% from the top. Nasty. And it's recovered 26%. So lucky I didn't sell my link. So that tells you the alt season's not over. It's not. I thought it might be, but at the moment it's not. Look at that. It's gone back above. That's really nice. So if you bought that bottom, it's a 28% move. So links in demand, and that was a perfect opportunity to buy on that dip. And this structure hasn't been broken because that's a daily and it's likely to close above. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, so there's a battle there, and the bulls are winning on the 4-hour at the moment. So that was a big drop, green, red. The next candle will decide, and that will basically be determined by Bitcoin. It's actually higher, so it's a higher on the current level, so it's been dipping below it as well. So it is a battle there. And it's pretty easy to figure this out, just by looking at the Fibonacci level. Yeah, there you go. So the 0.5 is acting as resistance. Oh, sorry, the 0.382 is resistance, and just below 0.5 Fibonacci is support. So it's in the middle of trying to determine what's going on. But even if it drops below it, this area is still. So if I was to buy a link and you haven't bought it, this is my zone to buy. This is the zone that you keep buying back. So if Bitcoin should drop, that will be a buy zone. And you can see why. There's a lot of previous resistance support. Yeah, that's my buy zone for link. If I was to buy more, at the moment, I'm just taking a break. I'm not going to buy. I'm looking at leverage trading rather than just holding coins. So that's link. What else can we look at? Let me look at my reference points. So I'm going to see if any of these charts have been destroyed. Right, let's see Bitcoin Cash. Okay. You can see straight away the 50 moving average acted as support. Bitcoin Cash did pull back pretty deep, like all the alts. I'll use that level. Yep, 618 level, along with. So if I was to look at this as a trade, I would definitely, let me get the 10 moving average rather than the 30. Yeah, so this one here. So really, you can't use the 10 moving average as previous trend because the price just dropped too hard. So I would look at, oh, that's ugly, the 12-hour, and the 12-hour candle. Well, we're going to look for the 12-hour candle, really. There's another 8 hours. So we want to see how this candle closes on the 12-hour. It needs to close above this 0.5 Fibonacci. So we have this trend on the 12-hour. So along here, we see this trend is being supported by the 10 moving average. It went, I suppose, parabolic, and now it's fallen back to this 10-20 moving average on that 12-hour, and therefore we will use this as a reference and see if that closes bullish. So Bitcoin Cash, 8 hours to go before you make up your mind. And if this was to go up too high, it's not a good entry. You don't want to see it too high. What you want to see is a bullish candle. If it closes something like this, it's good. If it closes bigger, up to this point, half of this candle will be right. If it's more than the half the candle, and then it's an ugly way to go in because you're exposed to risk for dropping down more. You don't want this to be too big. So, but you don't want to see wicks on the bottom either. So this is so far a nice candle. If it closes this way, it's a nice setup. And so this is the buy zone. If you were to buy it, right there actually. This is the buy zone for Bitcoin Cash. I'm using this level as support. I'm using this level as resistance. So if price drops down here, it's a good buying zone. Bitcoin Cash. My next reference, all right, let's see Phantom. Phantom is messed up. So Phantom is hasn't recovered well, and you can see that Phantom is finding this area as resistance. So price support now is resistance. I would bypass Phantom until it breaks that level. You need to see Phantom close above there to start. So if I was to buy Phantom, the reaccumulation area. So I wouldn't buy here. If anything, I'll look for the bottom again, where this wick is. That's my opinion. It's unlikely for it to go up. It's likely to drop, reaccumulate, and then move up. Phantom didn't recover well. Let's look at Theta. Had a lot of hopes for this. It's disappointing, and I got much worse now. That's nasty. That's ugly. I'm stuffed with Theta, aren't I? Look at that. That was a nice support level, and it just went below it. We've got to see this go above this and stay above it before you think about it, which I'm hopeful for. I think people, yeah. So this was its area to break. It was in the reaccumulation stage. It's almost breaking through it, and this stuffed it up. And now we've got this resistance level, and yeah, probably a good time to sell right there. It's trying to break through. It's a hard one. Let's see closer. It is making a bullish formation though. It's like a reversal pattern coming out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is around there, just a low, not as low. That could work. You can see it many ways. That would be nice. That was, yeah, that's overselling, over just dumping their coins. Really, there's probably no demand for it. So this is just people losing loose hands, and so I think this formation, a reversal formation, is going to take place before it goes up. So we just got to watch it. So at the moment, it's just done 1, 2, 3, looking for the 4th impulse to finish, and then we'll look at the 5th as an entry. VHO, let's see VHO. Oh, I must have VHO. BTHO. Still alright. He hasn't really lost most of it. It's still within the structure, so the trend's still there. So this was a reaccumulation phase. That was the bottom. Unlike Theta, this one kept this level. So this was a resistance level right there. So if I was to use that bottom there, let's bring it to these wicks. Price did come down, but it stayed above it. So this is this area you can see was previous buys, and I would still say that's the buy zone. Your stop limit should be under this. I would raise this up to that level there. Your stop limit. So if price to drop below that, exit. So buy zone, stop limit, and that's it. This hasn't lost its trend in a way. It fits this structure. But there's a VTHO, which I have, and I'm glad I'm not losing on that one. KSM, Kusama, part of the dot solution, looks shit. And that's lost the trend. It's done a lower low. So we had this, no good. So we had this level for a long time as support, and now it's going to be resistance. So it's got a lot of work to do before I even look at that. It's very weak. So it's what it's done is it's used this level on the structure, and there's a lot of work for this to come back up. This is the buy zone, and I'll have my stop limit under here. So this is the buy zone where it is right now for accumulation. But I'm not interested in accumulating something like that. I want to see better charts where they have potential to move up. And yeah, so if you're interested in buying Kusama, that's the zone, and that's your stop limit right underneath. If it drops below it, get out. There's a lot of potential because you can see Kusama. I traded it, but I never held it. I just sold. I think I exercised it here. So I was looking at. Yeah, I did theta instead. It's not topping off motion. I think it's just on a long reaccumulation, so it's a bit boring there. And where have we got Wink? Let's see what Wink's done. I reckon Wink's dropped heaps. No, it's Win. That's right. Actually, it's not bad. Actually, that's not bad. Although, Yeah, sure, you drop that level there. So that dropped there, but it's still reaccumulating. So that's the level there. So if you want to go along with this, and this is the buy zone, but this bottom layer is a reaccumulation. That's where you reaccumulate, and anything below, if it drops below, get out. That's my thinking if you want to go along with this. And it's got momentum on the side. Next one, SXP. Yeah, that stuff. I've got SXP, but no, it's actually. So you can see that how that moving average played its role, along with this level here. So I didn't quite make it to that level, but that's the support level. And that's your exit. So that's actually not bad when you look at it, the way it recovered. So here's the previous top, and it's closing above it. So now the next level of resistance here. It's another level of resistance, and if we were to make it bigger, there you go. It's below it, so it's in the middle. Trying to make up its mind. So that's so you can see here basically how this was your exit strategy there if you had it. This is a topping off motion. So it's dropped, and can't find another example to give you, but that was a topping, and then back to reaccumulation area. So it's going to go sideways for a while. Algorand, ALG, USDT, no, okay. So we can see this trend line. It's actually close above it, so it's regained that level. That's okay. I was going good too. Okay. I was waiting for this breakout. Somewhere around here. I think there was a pullback there. Exactly. Yeah, that was my area. I entered there. Can't remember. I put a stop limit somewhere around here, so I must have been stopped out. But you can see where their support line is, right? Like this is a support line. Previous, all this, we've got some wicks. But if you look at the 4 hour, that was a nice bounce from that moving average. Okay, that moving average just changed. So that was a bounce off this moving average right there. And there's a big green candle there. And we got, so this is a 4 hour chart, and we've got another 37 minutes for it to close bullish. So it's neutralized that one, this candle. So Algorand is looking good to resume, potentially to resume and keep going. Bitcoin doesn't drop. Let's look at Dodge. I actually traded it a few times. And Dodge is looking good. Look at that. It didn't drop. That's crazy. This is a coin that's gone crazily up, and look how it's held its position. And it's still holding. Look at that, sideways. Actually, it's about to break, isn't it? So if this was our resistance line, this is it's knocking on the door. So yeah, we've got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. This is the 4th touch, and you can probably argue that that's a ascending triangle. So this is a breakout trade. So lower highs. So if it breaks out, look for the retest, and up it goes. So Dodge is going well. If you enter Dodge here, you're doing great. I wasn't looking at Dodge at all. So that was your, if you bought here, there's no reason to sell. And you got this level of support. So this level, top level was support. It did drop below it. 1 hour, yeah, 1 hour chart. So let's see. Keep an eye on this one. So realistically, on the 1 hour, if I was to clear this, the wicks don't help, but I would use this body of the candle there, and I would want to see a breakout from there. So that's, I won't count that, so it's 1 touch, 2 touch, this is the 3rd touch. So keep an eye on that. Excuse me. Sushi. Will it go down more? Which one? What will go down more? Stonk. Okay, you're asking someone else. Let's look at this. Sushi. Nah, that's nasty. Had a good formation and just broke it completely. So what we had this reversal, well, drop based on that ascending wedge. That was the breakdown, and then we're getting this reversal, descending wedge, and the breakout. And obviously, if I was to use a line, yeah, that might be the resistance level. So if I was to look at it carefully, actually I'll use these 3. So the price is just breaking above it. However, this level here, where the wicks are, is resistance. So it needs to go above. 4 hour needs to close above this. Got a 6 hour chart. Yeah, so you can see why it's resistance. It's got a few. Might be an opportunity to short. And back to where this wick was. So sushi is not doing well. We look at it, did we? Okay, Adder's recovered. So that was my line. This was support. So Adder's, although it's dropped a lot, it's recovered pretty quick. And there you go. That's the current resistance level there with these previous tops. It's not clear. And we're having this. So you can see what there was rejection there. This trend line was support. Price dropped below it. Now we're having resistance. So I dare say that's your accumulation area here. That's your buy zone. I don't think it's going to pass. Yeah, he might pass it. But if price comes down here, this is where you buy. I would be patiently waiting here to buy more. This was previous accumulation there. So what we've had is this is the previous lower high from there. So what we're having is the lower highs. That was that, and this actually didn't drop below it. But that was our all-time lower high. This didn't drop below it, and therefore it's still bullish. And if we have this price closing above it, then the trend's still upwards. The lower highs are still there. So the trend for ADA hasn't broken yet, but it'll be an accumulation area if it was to drop down there. Let's see what else we got. I was enjoy. I do have INJ, and so you got this rounding top, which is not a good sign. It's always a sign that it's going to drop. So we had this rounding top, which gives you indication that it's going to drop. Pretty much opposite of a cup. Yeah, so that was the exit spot there. Found support still within the structure, so it's not, but it's not recovering well, is it? I wonder if we'll sell more. But that was a support level, I think, based on this. Just a few candlesticks here. That's about there. So I didn't quite go down there. So ugly structure. Can't make anything of it. But it's still within this structure, not to get rid of anyway. So it just means that you just got to be patient and wait a long time for it. And I think that's pretty much it. If you want me to comment on anything, let me know. Let's look at anything that I missed. All right, Ripple. Yeah, actually Ripple was one that probably people like. So if you look at Ripple, okay, nothing previous support, so it's all time. Actually, Ripple would have had a history there. So I'll need to get an old chart. XRP, USD, I think would be one. Bitstamp. No, Bitfinex. Let's look at Ripple from an old perspective. You don't want to know my Ripple story. It's a sad story. I bought Ripple, and I'm not going to lie. But this is not even old enough. Hold on. XRP USD. What's the? So this is Bitfinex. There should be an older chart. Which one's an older chart on Bitfinex? Polynex might have it. Where's Polynex? The reason why I say it because I bought it cheaper. There you go. Yeah. If you want to hear a little story, I first bought Ripple down here, not that low. Let me show you where I bought Ripple. Do I have Ripple now? No. I bought Ripple remember that number. That was my Ripple volume. Only if I didn't get rid of it. And not being a trader, I got rid of it. Ultimately, I got rid of it at my highest price was, no, it wasn't, not 48, it was about 38. So is that 38? Okay. So I bought it here, and at the 2,000% back then, and I bought it in between. And I got sick of waiting, so I bought it, sold it there. Obviously went down, but I missed this. So I missed the big jackpot. You know how many coins I had at the time? This is the sad story. This is the sad part. Here we go. Ready for the number? I had 6 million coins. And I sold them here when I could have sold them close to $3. I'd have been retired by now. Bummer. I sold it 6 months earlier. So that's my Ripple story. That's why I don't want to buy Ripple anymore. Now, so that's at a level. So what we do is we apply Fibonacci. I don't think this is going to work. Such a big scale. No, it's okay. It's still working. I'll apply another Fibonacci. I'll use this bottom level to the top. Maybe makes more difference. It's about the same, isn't it? So hit a resistance on 0.382 roughly. So let me just wiggle that around a bit, make it there. And it's just gone below. So what we can do is, I suppose we can use this as a means. No, it doesn't work that way. Maybe over performance, yeah. So that was roughly it. So big Ripple just went above 0.382, pulled back to 0.618. And it's at a good spot. So Ripple, although it pulled back significantly, it's still not bad, to tell the truth. So obviously it's dropped below the 0.5, but didn't quite get to 0.618. On this one here, so it's trying to stay above the 0.618. This is, we've got two significant fibs coming aligned, which is roughly the boost. This looks like a bottom formation. If it stays above here, it's going to go up. As to what it's going to do, well, that is, I see that as a resistance, and so there might be some bottom formation before it goes up or goes down for the time being. If that stays above this level for a day at least, so we need a daily candle to close above this level, then we have more likely chance that it's going to go up. But if Ripple was to come up to this level, it's definitely a shorting area, and I'll see a reaccumulation structure taking place. Actually, now that we mentioned that, let's look at VET. So actually, BNB and VET, these are the ones that did well. And okay. So that pulled back deeper than it should. I'll use a big picture. It's a 0.5. Okay. So I found that on a bigger scale, 0.5 Fibonacci as a support. Don't know what to say about this one, because it's done its run. It's done a little top off and it's pulled back 26%. It's actually, you might want to come down to here. This looks like a good support area. This doesn't look significant on that, just on that. I think this is more significant on that structure. So, and this area, looking at this resistance area is going to be resistance for a while, just because there was resistance there. So it might have more lower to do. So, and then probably drop more. That's the target. And if we're to use, just let's see, if this was, okay, so now we can see another level, Y resistance. Now we can see this trend line is acting as resistance as well. You need to break this resistance, break that level before you even think about it. That's BNB. BNB did a nice accumulation area here. And you can see it was acting as resistance there for a while. So this, the fact that it took a while, that long, is why we had that nice run. Now this is slightly blow off top. So if I was to buy BNB, I'll look for to buy at the 0.618 level here. And I'll do the last one. Okay, so that is within that framework. It's actually before. See how it went above this trend line and then tested it. It was going to go up, and Bitcoin. Once I yeah, no, it's not Bitcoin because it dropped before. I did it. What's the time? Yeah, it did 1 o'clock. So that dropped then. Is it? No, it was before. So there was a bit of capitulation there, bounced back. So now it's found support here. It's found support there on a 0.5 previous to resistance. Now it found support. So this could possibly. So there's resistance there, based on this photo here. It's acting as resistance. So you just want to see what happens here. If this trend line will be tested. So that's two scenarios there that's possibly to play out. Now that is bullish for its relationship with PWC. So that's a bull flag. Another one there. And this is, I think this is another reaccumulation structure. And your stop limits here. So if you were to buy, I would buy at the lower level. Just be patient. I would buy around here if it was to come down. Yeah, if it was to come down, that's my buying spot, and that's my stop limit below that. I'm interested. I'm going to give it a wrap up. That's it. That's all I got to say. I went across a few coins. There's too many to go through. Hopefully you guys benefit from it. Let's look at Bitcoin before we close up. Let's see what it's doing. Okay, so Binance, we're looking at Binance before BTC, USDT. No, it was Bitstamp, wasn't it? Yeah. So it does look slightly like it's going to come down again. And as I said, that's a buy zone. So that's 1, 2. So that if you want to take your chances, wait for the second or the third bounce before you make up your mind. I'll wait. I'll wait for the next 4-hour candle to close. Have a look at the 4-hour. Yeah, there's a bit of rejection. I want to see how this candle closes before I even jump in. And that's 16 minutes. And it looks like for now, Bitcoin's finding this level as resistance right there. So that previous resistance was acting slightly as support. Price pulled down. Now it's got rejection. So it's potentially going to come down. I think it's going to be retesting this spot from that candle anyway. It needs to go above this resistance, and at the moment it's not. So let's look at the next 4-hour candles. There's no buying signal. If you were to looking at getting rid of your coins, I'll be patient. I would not sell. If you sold because of panic, emotional, this will come back up. It might come up to this level, but if it comes up to here, you got to be watching it really carefully. It needs to gain this for it to go up, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to just keep coming down and doing some crap. Some type of motion, but I think it's going to do a big macro formation that's going to take weeks, at least a week of playing around in this range. That's my thinking. It might be something like that as well. So it gets rejected, comes down here, people buy it up. A few scenarios. So this is my buy zone, and anything underneath that will be my stop limit. And that's a wrap up. But at the moment, it looks like it's going to come back down. Yeah, it's definitely going. Yeah, for sure it's going to come down. And because it's leaning towards coming down, there's many alts aren't moving. There's no conviction there. So let's look at. There we go. For now, we have here a support. So this is going to come down to this level, and then you'll see what happens. I'll leave it there, guys. I'm done. I'm knackered. Hopefully you benefit from this, and give me a like and share this. I've been online for a while, and good luck with your trading. Hopefully everything's okay. What's this one? See my analysis. I want to follow with good and trim. Okay. So that's it, guys. Thank you for coming online and listening to me. I'm going to try doing this on a regular basis, more practice. And with more practice, I'll probably get better at communicating on the charts. And that's it. All the best. Talk to you soon.